What up with you guys? You know who it is. It's your boy John Mike back again today with Musician Mondays, the first Musician Monday of the year. And I thought it great to bring in an amazing guest that you all know, love, respect. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the man that needs no introduction, but I'm going to introduce him anyway. Carlton, Whitfield, C-Dub, Hoop Triggers, LoopsByCdub, Scale Junkie. I feel like I'm leaving out probably about 5 more things that you do outside of what we know. But I got the man with the plan. Like, you know what's so funny, man? I don't know if you've ever experienced this. Probably you may have. I know I experienced it a whole lot before you probably stopped wearing your glasses and cut your hair off, you know, and embrace the baldness. I used to have people that would come up to me at conferences and think that I was you or you was me. I don't know
Really?
Yes, all the
I didn't know
time.
that.
And I think it's because, you know, but like I said, again, we had the glasses, you know, under my hair. I got the little, you know, I got the little high top. I done kind of cut it down. But, you know what I'm saying, we had I had this, you know, almost a similar haircut. And then we both had tracks businesses, you know.
Right.
We both were running tracks and doing that kind of stuff like that, shout tracks, all that stuff. Of course, you know, LoopsByCdub, Hoop Triggers was all popping off around the same time. And so I would have people that would come up to me in conferences and we would be having conversations. And it would be about 15 minutes in, 20 minutes into the conversation, I realized
Oh my God.
they think I'm C-Dub.
That is funny. I did not know that, man.
Yeah, I used to have, it was hilarious, man. And I'll be honest, there was some conversations where I just owned it. I was just like, yeah, yeah. They walked away thinking they talked to C-Dub and they actually talked to me.
Wow.
That was so funny because, you know, you 20 minutes into a conversation and, you know, they say,
Right.
and I don't realize because they say, yeah, man, I use your tracks every Sunday. And I'm like, oh man, that's what's up. Yeah, man, it's just amazing, man. Them shout tracks that you be dropping, man, they be so crazy. I'm like, okay, yeah, we got shout tracks on the site. Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, your app is just fire, man. It's like, it's the best thing I've ever seen. And they be like, yeah, you know, and then, you know, the best thing is when my pastor get up and I can just go, bah, you know, bah, and it's just the hits there, the bah, it's just a blessing. I'd be like,
Oh my God. That is funny, man.
Oh, I don't want to let them down.
Oh, man. Well, you know, hey, at least you said something to him because they'll be inboxing me. Man, I saw you at this conference.
Right.
So I appreciate you. I do.
Yeah. But anyway, man, let's jump into you, man. You have had an amazing run, man, over the last decade. I almost want to call it the decade of dub. You know what I'm saying? You've been consistently killing the game with products, with apps, with all of those things like that. And just for those who may, because I know I do realize I talk, you know, my audience and people that follow me and all that stuff are people that are outside of the church world, outside of the church musician, you know, realm. So they just might not know who the gravity of who is hanging out with me today. So for those who just don't know, you know, they didn't see you on Steve Harvey, you know, they didn't see you with all these other things you've been doing. Let the people know who you are, what's the C-Dub brand, all of those good things like that. Give us that
All
intro.
right. Well, my name is Carlton Whitfield. I go by C-Dub. Yeah, it's just my initial CW shortened. It's not no producer name and nothing like that. It just kind of happened in high school. But yeah, I do a lot of different software, music software. I kind of venturing out of music software a little bit, but my main focus over the last few years is just building products that churches can use to better the music ministry. So if you ever seen the app he was talking about where somebody's tapping, if you're walking to a church, somebody's tapping on an app while the preacher's preaching. Yeah, that's one of my apps. Hoop Triggers. And LoopsByCdub, of course. Scale Junkie, you know, an app I created for musicians to practice their scales and not be bored while doing it. And you know, I'm just venturing out to so much more stuff now, even into the film industry.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that.
All that kind of stuff. So yeah, I mean, I'm just a country dude with some ideas, and God blessed me to make some of them happen. And I'm just going from there.
Man,
Really?
that's just, I mean, that's a very humble nutshell that you kind of put everything into, because like watching the journey over the years has been, I know it's been inspirational to so many others, thousands upon thousands of other people who have been inspired by the products that you create, that use the stuff that you create on a week to week basis, ministries whose whole you know, game you just changed, for them by just the creation of something simple in your head. But for me, it has been, it's like, it's always the ultimate motivation. My wife will tell you that I talk about you constantly whenever something pops off or whatever. Something I'm like, because like, just I know you had to cancel the thing to Dubai, the trip to Dubai, but I was just like, yo, man, this dude about to go. He doing the what's your take? He about to take it overseas,
Yeah.
man. And I just be like tripping off of just all those things. But it's always been like an inspiration from like, because like Loops by C, seeing you step out and do Loops by CDub way back when you were selling the 99-cent loops. For those who you got to be diehard and been following this dude for a long time to remember the 99-cent loops before the app, before hoop triggers,
Right.
before all of that, to remember when those were the things that inspired me as a church musician, just a regular guy, like you said, you regular guy from Houston, was it not Houston, Texas?
No, I was definitely in
Then
Houston.
Houston, the country,
Hillsboro.
Hillsboro. I knew it started with an H. Hillsboro, Texas. I'm a little dude from Jackson, Tennessee. Is a piano teacher, and I remember 2011, 12, somewhere around in that standpoint, seeing these loops pop up, and this dude named C Dub. And what's so hilarious is, growing up, they used to call me J Dub.
Oh wow, for real?
Yeah, because
That's what's up.
most people don't know my real name. Lord have mercy. My real name is John Williams. So
Right.
growing up, they called me J Dub.
Ah,
So
okay.
when I got ready
That's
to
crazy.
step out and start really like doing business online and doing things, I was like, I kind of gotta, I didn't have a brand then, so it wasn't like a rebrand, but it's like, I kind of got to do something else, because if I jump out and I'm doing like music type stuff in the church world and tracks and
Right.
stuff like that, and then I'm calling myself J Dub, I'm gonna look like a C Dub ripoff. So I got to come up with something different. So hence came John Mike, which is
Wow.
Michael is my middle name. So that's where all of that jazz came from, and it just stuck and it just worked.
Yeah.
So I was able to kind of fly under your radar, so to speak, and people not
That is funny, man.
make those comparisons that I was trying to rip you. But
Oh my
yeah,
God.
so yeah, man, those things were inspirations to me.
That's what's up.
Inspirations to me to step out and do my own like music based business and try to expand into that market and what have you. So tell me, what was the inspiration? I'm taking you all the way back. And I know you told these
Okay.
stories a dozen times, but every time I hear you tell these stories, I always hear something different. You always approach it a different way. There's always some different revelation, some different nuggets that come out of the story every time you tell. But what was the premise for Loose by C-Dub? How did we get there?
Man. All right. So a long time ago, I'm talking like 2010, probably.
Wow.
Maybe before that, man. I had started making loops. I just had this idea to just make a whole bunch of click tracks, right? And so,
Yeah.
but it was gonna be called gospelclicktracks.com.
Really?
And so yeah, and so I made like 30 or 40 of them, and I was like, man, ain't nobody even using loops like this, man. I was like,
Wow.
I just put it on a hard drive and I just left them there for a while, right?
Yeah.
And so then later on, like 2013, I started playing for Bishop Morton,
Okay.
and we used to use the MPC
Mm-hmm.
all the time. And then one Sunday, the MPC wouldn't show anything on the screen. It was just a blue screen, right? We couldn't navigate
Wow.
nothing. But we had got so used to using loops. I was like, you know what? I got some on my hard drive. Maybe some of those will work for some of what we're using. And so I started playing them from my computer. And we did so many songs at changing, like I'm talking 11 songs a Sunday. It was every Sunday.
Wow. 11
So I
different
was just making
songs?
11 different songs every Sunday.
Dang.
Yeah, well, I'll take that back. 4 of them were like the same for the month.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
the
yeah.
rest of
Okay.
them were different. Yeah.
Jeez.
And so and so I made so many loops, and I was like, man, I wonder if anybody else want to use these. I had
Right.
like 100.
Yeah.
I wasn't even 100. It was like 70 or something like that.
Yeah.
So, man, I literally back then, iWeb was on the Mac, right?
I remember iWeb.
So yeah, and so I just went on iWeb. I created a one-page website. I found me an MP3 player online that could sell MP3s. I went outside. I did like this with my phone. Snapped a picture, put that picture on there, put the MP3 player on there, and posted on Facebook, hey, y'all, I got some loops for 99 cents if anybody want to use them.
Wow.
And I'll never forget my first Sunday, man. I was on the way to church, barely making it because I didn't have that much gas money.
Gosh.
And I looked at my PayPal, and 5 people bought loops. And I was like, somebody really just paid me 99 cents for these loops. I was like, this is crazy.
Wow.
I was so hyped. I stopped. I'll never forget. I stopped by KFC on the way home, and I paid for my meal with that $5. You know they got $5 meals.
Yeah. Wow.
And man, I was like, some people be like $5, man. No, it was the fact that $5 hit my account, and I was just sitting there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You weren't doing nothing.
I was so hyped, man. I was so hyped. The next Sunday it was like $13. You couldn't tell me nothing, man. You couldn't tell me nothing after that, man. I was like, okay. This is what this is what I want to do. And so I did that for a while through that MP3 player. And one of my friends was like, man, you need to turn this into an app. I was like, man, I don't know nothing about no apps.
Right.
Man, I'm just going to keep it like this. It's doing good.
Yeah.
It's making a little money. I'm just going to just keep it like this.
Yeah.
He told me that for a year. And then finally one year, he said, man, if you don't create an app for this, I'm going to do it and I'm going to sell it to you. And I was like, you know what? I ain't gonna go out like that.
Yeah.
So he literally made me start my LoopsByCdub app. He helped me get started with it. He managed the whole project.
Wow.
And some of y'all know him, but a lot of y'all know him. TJ Haynes from Piano Clubhouse. That's
wow.
like my mentor. That he's the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing right now.
Wow.
Like seriously. And so yeah, he pushed me into the app game, and yeah. We support each other now all the time. So yeah.
That's great.
That's that story.
So okay, so let me rewind then. Because I think there's a little known fact that a lot of people don't know, because that is where I do remember my first introductions to C-Dub was through Piano Clubhouse.
Yeah.
And I don't think a lot of people know that because that was pre LoopsByCdub, right? And then it was even during the tenure when you was like starting to really build, you were doing those tutorials and stuff. So how did that connection happen, and how did you get to that?
Well, I played at Friendship West Baptist Church in Dallas with TJ.
Oh, okay.
A long time ago. Yeah, like in 2006 or something like that. Even before that. And so when I moved here, we kept in touch, and he was telling me about this tutorial site he wanted to start. Matter of fact, I feel real bad because he actually wanted me to help him start it. And man, I'm kicking myself to this day because I just didn't see the vision. I just did not, man. And so he just did it himself. He just started doing tutorials, but then he asked me if I would do something for him.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah. And so, man, I was doing so. I mean, I probably got at least 500 or 600 tutorials on the site.
Yeah, I remember.
And that's how our relationship started. And I just made a bunch of tutorials, and so people never really saw my face, but I would always say, "Hey, this is C-Dub with Piano Clubhouse." And so when I started my first YouTube page, my only YouTube page, when I moved to Atlanta, I was just trying to get a job.
Right.
You know, so I made a video of me playing so I could send to these people on Craigslist to try to get a job at the church. But when I said, when I put on there that my name was C-Dub, I started getting all these people like, hey, are you the C-Dub from Piano Clubhouse? And that's how my YouTube page really, I mean, I don't really think it blew up, but I got a little popular on YouTube from that.
Yeah.
And
all the Keybase playing tracks, Keybase shared tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gosh.
So Piano Clubhouse is really what set the stage for. That's like my foundation of what made me go in the direction that I'm going right now. Even back then, I remember back then on YouTube, you could feature somebody else's video on your page. And I remember he did he featured my Rihanna Shout Bump video on his page. 1,000 views a day. And that's when everybody started kind of knowing about C-Dub.
That's crazy.
Video. Yeah,
that's crazy. So that's amazing to see the connection. Almost, because of course I see how God works in it. We see the hand of how He does it. So He brings you in, connects you with this dude back, way back when, at a church that you guys are playing at.
Yeah.
You move to Atlanta, y'all keep in touch. He says, "Hey man, I got this site that I'm trying to start and trying to build up, blah blah blah, Piano Clubhouse.
Mm-hmm.
You want to do it?" Of course, you're just like, "Yeah, boom!" You jump and do it, and then
Yeah.
that fast forwards ends up just the strength of that connection built is
Yeah.
what drives you into what is it 2014 2015 creating the Loops by CDub app just by way of connection and building that network, so to speak, of with
Yeah,
that.
man. Look, I'll give you one even better
Okay.
because not only did he, guide me in that direction, but when I tell you he managed my project of getting the loops out finished, but even to this day, this is gonna sound crazy when I say this, but he works for me.
Wow.
Now, don't get me wrong, he don't
Yeah,
have
yeah,
to.
yeah, 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 yeah.
It ain't like he have to work for me, but that's how we work together. I
That's
did a lot of
crazy.
stuff for him back in the day. I helped him build what he was building, and now he turned it right back around. This is what you don't see black people doing
Come on, come on.
in business. The other people do it all the time,
Mm-hmm,
but you don't
mm-hmm,
see
mm-hmm,
us. We get ours and we move on. We don't
mm-hmm.
mention nobody. We don't say nothing about nobody. Act like we did it by ourselves. Nah, this dude literally to this day, he's the one when you get loops on the app, he's the one putting them on there. He uploads. He's the one
Wow.
sending out the emails. He's always been a supporter of me, man, and we support each other to this
That's
day. So it's like,
crazy.
it is, man. It is like amazing to me, and
Now that I never know.
that's how I'm trying to be with people. I don't. It's not about getting what you got
Exactly.
and just hiding.
Exactly.
No, help somebody else.
Exactly.
Like I said, he don't have to do it. Let's
That's
get that straight. But he enjoys it, and we have such a good relationship, man. We like best friends for real.
That's crazy though.
Yeah,
Like I never would have thought that. So that's that, and I'm pretty sure it's a lot of other people that probably was a mind blowing moment right there because,
yeah,
but that shows you the strength. And I preach this all the time, and that's a lesson I think that, like you said, we can definitely learn from in our culture. In
yeah,
not just African American church culture, because African American culture in terms of business can be doggish, but
yeah,
black church musician culture can be even more
yeah,
doggish. And so I think I've always said this, that your network will determine your net worth.
man, for
And
real.
so, it's those little things of building relationships with people that can something simple as, hey man, I need your help on doing this or creating this or playing on this or
Mm-hmm.
playing on that or recording this or recording that, or that those connections, because when you make it to your level of success, you remember those that helped you get there,
Right. Yeah,
and you
of
want to
course.
bring them along with it, and vice
Yep.
versa. As they go up, they want you. It's a network,
Yep.
and you got to build it, and I think, like you said, that's where we fell at in our culture, is that we
Yeah.
refuse to network with each other and build with each other and share resources and
Yep.
share platforms and do all of those different things like that, because I don't know where that meant. I don't know if it goes all the way back to slavery mentality, slavery days,
Yeah.
how we were
I
kind of
don't know.
isolated and siloed away from each other, and we would kind of had to make it and claw our own way out, and that
Yep.
thing just kind of just filtered down through DNA, all the way
Right.
down to us now, where we're just still in this whole mentality. But I think that's super dope, man. I think that's super
Yeah.
dope how you guys built that relationship, and that relationship matured and built into something to where now this guy is literally like the foundation. You started as the foundation of what he was doing, and now he's
Mm-hmm.
become the foundation of what you're doing.
Exactly.
That's
And you,
crazy.
yeah, and when it happens like that, you know, it'll keep going.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing about it, because if you really are a humble person, and you don't try to act like you did it by yourself.
Exactly.
I can't do that. I can't. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and act like I built what I have by myself when I know that I have people to help me. So I'm
Wow.
gonna keep doing the same thing, and then the person that I do that with is gonna do the same thing,
Exactly.
and the person is just gonna keep going. So it really stretches way past just you. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Man, that's amazing. All right, so Loops by CDub. That's where that kind of came in. So I've heard the story about hoop triggers. I'm gonna make you tell it again. But okay, hoop triggers. This is what I want to know about hoop triggers.
All right.
How? Okay, concept of how it came together. That's
All
that's
right.
that's that's the one side of it. That's the one. The B part to that question is when, what moment did it just,
Okay.
and you was just like, you knew it was a thing. I'm pretty sure because we all do. We kind of know when we got
Yeah.
something. But at
Yeah.
what point did you really, that manifestation of, I got something here, come in?
Right. So how it started, 1997. I was 17.
Dang.
I had an XP50,
Yep.
and I was just really just being funny. I recorded some
Mm-hmm.
chords in pattern mode or whatever, and I
Yep.
triggering with my keyboard. And I told
Uh-huh.
my brother one Sunday, I was like, "Don't even play. I put drums on here." But my dad preached, just sit over there, and I'm gonna do it from right here. And we were just falling out laughing. I mean, we were kind of bad in church a little bit, but yeah, we were just falling out laughing because it was working. My dad, he was fine with it.
Yeah.
So it's like, and so anyway, fast forward years later, man, I was just, when I left my dad's church and moved to another church and then went to Friendship West and then moved to Atlanta. I think when I got to Atlanta, that's when it really hit me, because it's like, man, my dad still hasn't found a musician in the town we're from, because it just weren't any there. And I just started thinking, like, man, what if, like, that idea I had back then, what if there was a way to actually make that work, And so I never forget, I told Trent, it was after church, Trent Phillips. I said, man, just believe me when I say, one day there's gonna be somebody at the pulpit tapping a button, playing for themselves while they preach. He just fell out laughing. He said,
wow.
He knew me
Yeah.
enough to know that I was serious.
Yeah.
And so man, I got to work. I got in contact. No, main stage. I built it in main stage first.
Yep, I remember that. Yeah.
And it wasn't working like I really wanted to. I think the main thing was, only Apple users could use it. And so one of my friends came over one day and I was showing it to him, and I was like, yeah, I love this idea, but I got to get it to more people. And his best friend that came with him told me, he was like, man, why don't you put it in contact? That's like cross-platform. I was like, you know what? So I scratched everything, put it in contact. I just became a contact developer out of nowhere. I don't even know.
Wow.
And then just put it out. And the first month, I'll never forget, man. The first time I showed this, it wasn't even an app then. Well, I mean, it was a PC or computer application.
Yeah.
And I was at this small church, man. It was a town smaller than my town. But there was like 10 musicians there and like 5 preachers, man. And I will never forget this day. This is the day. You want to know the day I knew it was going to be something?
Okay.
This is the day right here. I was showing it. I got up. I had a 55-inch screen TV behind me. I was going through it. It wasn't even 5 minutes into the presentation. You ever see when a preacher be up preaching and people start bringing money and throwing it at their feet?
Yeah.
Bro, I kid you not. I know it's on video somewhere. I promise you.
Wow.
I was doing my presentation and these pastors started walking up to me, handing me their credit card, throwing $120 at my feet. I kid you not. Ask my dad. He ain't showing a lot.
Wow.
And I said, man, y'all, let me finish the presentation. And this dude, he said, take my credit card and charge me. He said, don't even give it back till you charge me. I was like, and so I put his credit card in my pocket, and he just sat there. They sat there, and when I finished, the dude was like, charge me. He said, charge me right now. And that's when I knew. I was like, okay, I'm onto something.
Yeah, you're onto something.
But I ain't gonna lie, when I was doing it, every time I would advertise, people would buy it. But man, it was so hard getting people to know how to
use it,
like use contact or install it. It was just the installation was like crazy. So that's when I was like, you know what, it's time to put this in the app format. LoopsByCdub is doing good. Maybe this is something that might work on an app. And so I got to work on that and was scared to release it. I had it in the app store ready to release for 6 months. 6 months just sitting there.
Wow.
And I just was not gonna push the release button. Yeah.
Why?
I was scared, man. I was like, man, these musicians gonna hate me.
Oh, yeah.
I said, these people, they probably gonna laugh at it. Will the church really use it? My dad was using it already.
Wow.
And finally one day, like, God was like, this is it.
Okay.
Do it.
Yeah.
And man, I released it, and Warren Brown got a hold of it and messed around and did a video on one of his lives and broke. When I tell you the server crashed.
Jeez.
The server crashed because so many people downloaded it that night.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
it's crazy.
That's nuts. So I think that's dope. Just seeing the transition because you've had to learn the lessons and the things you learned working with Loops by CDub.
Yeah,
it transitioned and pushed you into the next thing that scaled you even higher. You know what I mean? To where you were before with that. I mean, you already had kind of like, already kind of broke the internet, so to speak, with Loops by CDub because you had cats everywhere. I mean, I can remember just walking in and cats just, they got the app, they got it plugged up, they playing the tracks, they running it from that. But then you figured out, okay, the next step, and it's just amazing how these just watching, I see the business behind it because it's just the business mind of, I see like the skill stacking that you had to do, the scarce skills that you developed, the scarce product, that you put together that allowed you to kind of transition into these things, and the biggest thing that I heard listening to that is that, and I think if anybody could catch this lesson, it would be, because they say necessity is the mother of invention. So your product was developed and birthed out of, I mean, you got the concept way back in 97, but what drove the passion, the why, as I always say, the why that drove the product was, I want to make sure my dad got music.
Right.
Exactly. I want to make sure that he's got music. And you figured out that passion is what drove it. And you got people to buy. They bought in. Like watching you and your pops on Steve Harvey. I know that was probably a pivotal moment, but just seeing that, I'm pretty sure that was full. Tell us about that. I'm pretty sure that was like a full circle moment right there,
bro. When I tell you, I'll never forget. I posted. I got to tell you really how that came about.
Yeah, how did that come?
I'm gonna make this as short as possible. Right.
Okay.
So I was at my office one day, getting off the elevator. Okay. There was a news reporter trying to interview people about being vegan. Everybody, everybody was just passing up. Nobody would take the time to listen to it, right? So I had to go do something. Then I came back to the elevator. She was still there. I said, you know what, man? I said, I see you trying to get an interview. I said, what you trying to do? I said, I'll do it.
Yeah.
And she's like, really? I'm like, yeah. And so she interviewed me, and that was, and so after that, I said, I asked her for a card. She gave me her card. I went straight to my office, emailed her. I said, hey, I got this app, this for preachers and stuff like that. And I explained to her, I said, I don't know, maybe something you want to do a story on one day. She emailed me back immediately and said, you know what? Because you took the time to give me this interview that I needed. She said, I'm sending my producer out here next week to interview you. We're going to put you on the CBS News here in Atlanta.
Wow.
And so that happened. And when that aired and I got the video, I posted it on my page and I asked everybody to tag Steve Harvey. I said, everybody, just tag him. I said, I'm trying to get on the Steve Harvey show. And so they did. Probably like 1,000 people did it. And one day I was just checking the message request section, like the spam mail, right?
Yeah.
That you don't ever look at. That's where all the stuff is at in there, y'all. If you didn't know, not the regular inbox, but the spam. That's where And so there was this lady, and she was like, "Yeah, I'm a producer for a show, and I'd like to talk to you." And I'm like, "Oh." So it was the Steve Harvey show.
Wow.
And so they told me, we want you to come out in 2 weeks. I was like, wow. So this was like, I can't remember what part of the year it was, but. And then the next thing you know, they emailed me back and said, we got to reschedule. I mean, I was hyped, man.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, so when we doing it? And they were like, it's going to be in like October of next year. We talking like 10 months away or something crazy like that. I just knew for sure they were just going to cancel it or whatever.
Yeah.
I want you to know I got on the next to the last episode that Steve Harvey did.
Right. Yeah.
The next to the last episode, they flew us out there, and I think the most surreal part, because I've been on talk shows before with artists and stuff. And you just do your sound check and get down and wait until it's time to play. Now this was different. Like I watched them build a set for me. Like
wow,
that's like they were having a conversation about how to build a set for my segment. That was just surreal to see that. Like they're doing this for me. Wow. Like I'm the artist. It was just crazy, man. And just to be able to do it with my dad, man, you can't, man.
Yeah.
I tell everybody, my dad's the only person that's ever hooped on the Steve Harvey show.
Oh,
Can't
for
nobody
real,
take it
for
away
real.
from him.
Straight up history.
Can't take that from us.
Crazy.
So, yeah, that was surreal, man. Crazy.
Yeah. No, definitely. So, okay. So I'm seeing the trend here. You're building loops by CDub. It pops, it does your thing. It frees you from that. You go into hoop triggers, and that scales even crazier. Okay, so the next thing I want to kind of segment into is this transition from being a church musician, changing the generation, Bishop Morton, killing the game. Because you was there for how long?
5 years.
5 years, man. So 5 years of your life spent, building that, and then you all of a sudden say, "Yeah, I'm no longer doing the church musician thing. Going to push into the businesses full time."
Right.
What was the motivation behind that decision? What brought you there?
Well, let's see. To be honest, it was a 2-year decision.
Really?
I was already thinking about it 2 years before, but it just, I don't know. I've been doing this since I was 5. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I've been playing in church every Sunday. I tell people, I promise you, I've been to more church services than anybody.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
My dad would run 3-month revivals straight. You know what I'm saying? Every day.
Jeez.
Like, it'd be 1 month. It'd start off with 1 month, but then the Holy Spirit said another month. That's the end of the month. Then we have to bring the chairs back out there. And it was a tent revival.
Another month.
Yeah. He said, keep going. Like, so I done heard, I done been to more church services, heard more sermons.
Bruh.
Like, so this is my life. Like, this is like my identity. And it was just hard to let it go. So every year at the end of the year, I'd be like, is this my last watch night service? No, we're going to do one more. We're going to keep going.
Yeah.
And so finally, in 2019, it was in November. I decided to leave in November.
Wow.
Not even December. I left in November. And I think the thing that did it for me was I hired my brother to work for me.
Yeah.
And when I realized I was paying him more than what I was making at church,
wow.
I said, you know what? If he can leave his job to work for me, I need to leave my job to work for me.
Wow.
That's what made me leave. I said, I have to put my all into this, And I never forget, I was so nervous about calling Bishop. I was, even though Bishop is cool, he ain't, Bishop is the coolest pastor I've ever played for.
Yeah.
And I called him up. I was nervous, and I said, Bishop, I just want to let you know, that, I got 30 days and I got to move on and do, He's like, oh, man, so I know, I already knew it was going to happen. This thing happened with PJ, he had to do his own thing. And I knew it was coming. He gave me the blessings, man. And I mean, it was just like a relief, man.
Wow.
But man, that's when it really started taking off for me, though, because I was able to really concentrate all my time into, helping everybody's music ministry.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And so, yeah, man.
I identify with that because, again, like going back to the beginning of it, you have been like a big inspiration in my career as well, and as I built my businesses. It's almost like you trailblazing the path, and I'm walking right behind in the path because you walked out in 2019, 2020. I was out the same, like
I was so happy for you when you did that. I was like, I know what's going on
because you know the vibe, because there's this tension that happens, and I don't think a lot of people talk about it. I've been talking with my I'll tell you another person that's been like, because it's again like you said it before when you were talking about blazing paths, like people helping each other, all of those different things like that, but like how it keeps reciprocating itself. Basically, the path keeps reciprocating itself. So I've been talking with like Jan Hunter Jr. and Jan is literally like right on my like heels. I walked away, and then a few months he was like, you know what, Rev? Boom. I walk away. This dude walked away from church as well. Now, I'll talk about mine, and I'll talk about his. So I walked away, and 2020 was the best year of my business. Period. Like, I had never made so much money in my businesses until I walked away, because like I said, there's this tension that's there when you're there, because you got the business pulling on you. You know, you got life outside of life, you got business pulling on you, and it's like it's something that's pulling and saying like, if you would just give me more attention, like
Yeah.
Telling you, like, we can really do this thing. I know you got, but see, you get into the groove of working something. I gotta stop, gotta learn this song.
Right.
Gotta go to rehearsal tonight. Oh, like you said, we got a revival this week. That's the whole week gone. That's you're not gonna be able to do anything. But it's like when you're able to like step out and work for yourself and dig into it, dig your heels into it. It's that's when you really start to see the expanding of it. So it was that same tension, man. Like it was like all of 2019. Like it was just pulling on me. Like I got to a point where it's like I would be playing at church and it would be grieving my spirit.
Man,
I would just be like, I would walk away from church feeling worse.
I don't want to hear this.
I walk away from church, bro, feeling worse than I did when I came in the door. And there's so many other aspects, and y'all can go check out my Facebook post to kind of see all of that. But it was just that tension that was just pulling me, because I told somebody this. I was like, yo, the military, they only allow soldiers to work for 20 years, like that, and then they make them retire. They have to retire after 20 years. But we're, as church musicians, we're like the only in any other field. If you go to any other field, not even just the military, like most people, they'll work about 20, 30 years in a field and then they retire. Right. You expect it to retire by that time. You know what I mean? But there's something about it, as a church musician, there's this weird tension there that's like always pulling us to say, like, basically, you got to this is your whole life. From birth. I know cats that's been playing since they 2 years old. I started late. I started at like 9, so I felt like I was late in the game starting that late. But you know what I'm saying? That's still like 30 plus years of my life being almost 30 years of my life being dedicated to be a church musician. You know what I mean? So you kind of have to, follow. So if you're feeling that tension, it might be time for you to kind of, follow what you feel.
I think mine wasn't really tension on that like that. Okay. Mine was more like I didn't want to let it go.
Oh no, me either. Yeah, me either.
I'm over here traveling with Bishop Morton. We going to these 5-star hotels.
Well, now, that's a different vibe.
We riding in Bentleys and
that is a different
limos,
vibe. That's
all
a
that
different
kind
vibe.
of stuff. And it's not like I'm not no flash.
No. I know what you're saying.
It was just the experience, man. Like I get to ride around with the founder of the Full Gospel. Yeah. Like we chilling, talking in the back seat.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? I'm in these churches and I'm meeting these pastors I never would ever get to go in the back and eat with and meet people, and it's just the networking and the connections and stuff. It's like, man, I don't want to leave. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that is a different vibe. That's a different vibe.
It was interesting, man.
Yeah, no, I wasn't in no 5-star hotels or Bentleys or anything like that. I was just playing "How Great Is Our God" by Tyler Galbraith on Sundays, and Travis Greed every other day. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't nothing like that going on. So it was. I think it was a lot easier for me to just kind of be like, I could kind of let this go. But I think
I do want to say.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. No. Go ahead.
No, I just want to say I don't want people to think that we knocking playing for church, because that's not what we're doing.
Nah.
You don't understand. We did this for a long time, y'all.
Exactly.
Like, a long time, and the minds that we have and the stuff that goes through our head and the stuff we want to do, it's gonna weigh on you when you can't do it. It's just like you're not aligning your life with what you really want.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And so no matter what you're doing, if it's not what you want to do, it's gonna feel bad at some point. And
exactly,
you got to learn when to let it go. That's all it really is.
Yeah, and passion will pull you. I think that's the big thing. Passion will pull you. It'll pull you. It's gonna always be nagging you. It's gonna always be pulling on you, because I think that was the biggest thing for me. Like I said, it's not that you like you say you knock in church, but I think there comes a point where, especially if you're business minded, especially if you're an entrepreneur and you want to build business, you want to scale. Right. It's something and that's why I never dealt well working 9-to-5 jobs, because I was always trying to. It was
Tell me about it.
Like I'll be like, yo, like,
what am I doing here?
What am I doing here? Like what more could I be doing with this time? And what you don't understand, that it takes up mental space. Like, even though you're not you may be the musician or the church musician that's there 2-3 times out of the week. It's in sense on paper it's really a part-time job. You may be making full-time money. Some of you, depending on where you play and what you make, you may be making full-time money, but on paper the hours that you put in, whether it's practice and rehearsals and even on Sunday morning, on paper it's a part-time job. If you're working less than 30 hours a week, it's a part-time job, and some of us work full-time. I know all of the variables are different. The types of, church musician that's out there, and what you play. Some of you worship pastors.
I was working. Full-time.
Y'all was going. Y'all was traveling and doing all of that stuff. So like I said, the dynamics are different for everybody, but either way it goes, it takes the mental space that it takes up. And it was something about when I freed up that mental space, that church was taking up.
Yeah.
When I walked away from playing at church, that those first 2 months of 2020, I made more money in those first 2 months than I would have made the entire year playing for the church.
See,
in two
like that, man.
Nah.
Teach me your way.
No, whatever, man. I'm blazing your path again. I'm blazing your path. So again, we're not trashing playing for church. I don't want to bash it up, because if that's where you are, if that's what God has you, if that's what you got to do that. But I'm talking to a specific type of person. There's somebody that's listening to us talk about this, that's sitting on the edge of their seat right now, going like, yes. Right. Yes, like it's resonating with your spirit, everything that we're saying, and you're saying like it's a key. That's who I'm talking to. If you're feeling that, that's the person that we're talking about. If God's got you in a ministry and you're serving there and you're faithful there and you're happy there and you're enjoying that, keep vibing there, keep doing that, keep building that, keep serving in that ministry. Because I'll say this: all of my 6-figure skills that I gained were gained in serving in ministry.
Yep.
Every skill, from video editing to mixing audio to production to, creating tracks, doing all of these things, all of those skills were garnered and cultivated in church and from serving in ministry. I would not be where I was if I did not serve faithfully in ministry and learn how to connect with a pastor's vision and figure out how I can fill those gaps and fill those needs, because that's all it was. I learned how to edit video. I learned how to use Final Cut. I learned how to work a camera. I learned about ISOs and white balance and exposure, and those skills that I learned just filming the sermon, trying to help my pastor, going back to how C-Dub did with his dad, just trying to help out my church and, film the conference, set up a couple of cameras in some places and film it, and go back and edit the video and mix the audio and put it all together. Those little skills that I garnered trying to figure those things out and learn them ended up turning into me creating a masterclass business where I sell masterclasses, and I'm able to go out, use those skills, record video with these other producers, bring it back, put it in Final Cut, edit it together. Same thing with my YouTube videos. All of those skills were garnered serving in ministry. So if you're serving in ministry, keep serving in ministry, keep learning, keep growing. But if you're if you feel like you're at the end of your tenure, and you got some other business things and some other passions that's pulling on you, that's pulling on you, saying like, I need your time. Push after that, press into that. I think that's the stage, the place where I'm at. Anything you want to add in on that?
No, everything you said that's it, man. Like, but if you are that one person that's trying to venture out, man, you don't have to jump into it too fast. Just
exactly.
Let it happen naturally, especially y'all that got wives and kids, man. Don't leave them out there, No,
that's the biggest part about it. It has to be, it has to fit in there. I get it. And I always say this, like, people tell you just to jump out there and do it. Just jump, go, man. It's time. Yeah. It's the beginning of the year. It's time to jump. Well, anybody that jumps, if you talk to skydivers, like I did this indoor skydiving thing. I'm too chicken to do actual skills.
I had it scheduled in Dubai. Bro.
Really?
I'm talking about the real deal, bro.
No, I don't. Man, I'm praying you get back to it. I did the indoor skydiving things,
Yeah.
and that's about the closest I'm ever gonna get because that scared me to death. So I know I ain't jumping out of no plane. Maybe I'll do a Will Smith thing, turn 50 and do it or something stupid
Right.
like
Right.
that. But right now, nah, I should live and not die, declare the works of the Lord. But one thing I learned from that is that it's jumping is a skill. Jumping
Yeah.
isn't just it's just you just do it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
jumping out of a plane, skydiving, doing those things. Anybody that's a real jumper would tell you you got to have a plan. You got to know when you're gonna jump, at what altitude. You know, you got to know when the time is to jump. You got to know what the point is to pull that parachute. You know, you got to know.
Yeah.
You got to know what kind of clothes to wear. You can't jump in blue jeans. You know,
Right.
you got to have they have jumpsuits on, and then
Right.
not only that, you got to know where you're gonna land. There's a calculated. Every part of the jump is calculated, and that's what I
Yeah.
figured out doing that indoor. Did just listen to the instructor just give us because they taught us as if we were jumping out of a real plane because that's literally what it felt like. But yeah, if you're gonna jump, make it a calculated jump and do it like that. Okay, so moving forward a little bit, but
Okay.
into the subject of marriage and family.
Mm-hmm.
I know you've had some transitions with your
Yeah.
marriage and with your family and some things, and you don't have to go like overly deep into details and
Right.
things like that. But I want and you can share as much as you want to share and as little as you want to share as well.
Okay.
But I know you because 2021 has been a year of it was a year of transitions for a lot of people. From
Yeah.
my wife, she lost 4 people in her family, like
Man.
over like close, like aunties, grandmother, uncles, all of that, like all within like 6-month period, like just like that. And none of them were COVID related. Crazy enough, they just
Wow.
transitioned, and it was just like boom, 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 boom. And so I've seen a lot of people have a lot of transition in 2021 from business to personal to life and stuff like that. And I know that we balance life. That's life. There's these bittersweet moments that kind of keep you balanced and keep you humble. And you gotta balance the bitter with the sweet. Because people don't know. We just see the smile. We see you taking pictures with fully clothed, with a suit on to go out and check your mail. You know what I mean?
Right.
And we don't know there's
Yeah.
also things that are going on in the background. There's bitter things that's going along with the
Oh
sweet.
man.
And so
Yeah.
what is that? I know you recently transitioned. Your marriage kind of ended. I'm not sure how long you
It
guys
kind of
were.
ended.
Okay,
It ended for real.
you try to approach the
Right. It
topic.
kind of ended.
Yeah, you try to approach the topic, delicately. You know what I mean?
I know.
But so your marriage ended. Marriage ended. That was a thing. Big transition for you in 2021. Talk
Yeah.
a little bit about that, man, if you feel free, and
Yeah.
and what is that like after being married to someone for so
Whew.
many years and
Man.
relationship, and now getting back into the single
Oh my
life
God. Oh my God. In Atlanta.
in Atlanta at that,
Of all
in the
places.
thirstiest place in the United
Uh,
States.
man. Man. People. And this. I have a different view on all of this stuff now
Yeah,
that I've
yeah.
never had before. First of all, you couldn't have ever told me that I was not going to be married at some point after I got married.
Wow.
You just could have told me that. Like,
Yeah.
It's just that's we were married for 15 years.
Wow.
That's a long time, man.
Yeah.
We got married really. I ain't gonna say really early. I mean, 23, 21. That's not.
See,
I guess
that's crazy,
hey,
man.
that is kind of early.
But see, look, I got married. That's crazy. Again, me and my wife. Now we're on 16. We just celebrated 16 years. We got married she was 21. I was 23.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, that was me.
And then I think your birthday is like a couple days before my birthday,
sure.
and we just say it's just so many. Anyway, keep going. So you
Yeah.
could tell you couldn't be married. You got married early.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah.
Yeah, we got married early. We got we had our first child 7 years after we were married, and then we had another one. So we got 2 kids.
Yeah.
Man, and it's so crazy because even throughout our marriage, we've always looked at people who got divorced or even people who were just in relationships and and it didn't work out, and just wonder why they got to be like that.
Mm-hmm.
After it ends, why do you see these women keeping their kids away from the dad, and just all that kind of stuff. We just talk about that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Little did we know that one day, our
Yeah.
time was coming.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is, man, it's hurtful as it was to have to end it. And I say this, and this sounds crazy to some people, and then some people will understand it, some people will never understand it. We ended the marriage, but we saved our relationship.
Wow.
We saved our friendship.
Yeah.
And had we not done it when we did, we wouldn't be friends today.
Wow.
Period.
Yeah.
And so because we did what we did, we still have a good relationship. We talk constantly. We ain't fighting over no kids. We ain't fighting over nothing.
That's great. That's amazing.
And that's really a blessing. And I always tell people, no matter what situation, I'm going to make the best. I'm gonna make the best out of whatever. I take that scripture for real when it says all things work together for good. Like, I take that to heart. And so no matter what happens to me, I try to turn it around and make sure it's working for good. I'm gonna make it try to work.
Yeah. I know.
That's just my mindset. And so it was, don't get me wrong, it was tough.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is, immediately when I tell you I got therapy, like, some people be too prideful and all that kind of stuff, or they just don't think therapy works, or they think that if you get a therapist, they mean you crazy. Or,
right. No.
I had 2 therapists, a counselor. I had a team. You know what I'm saying? To get me to where I am today. Yeah, because otherwise, man, I would have just been crying every day. Honestly, just to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I did for a while.
Yeah.
But I came out of it. I was like, Carlton, you got too much stuff to do, man.
Yeah.
Like, you have to come out of this.
Yeah.
And you got to make this work in the best possible way.
That's great.
So I believe, I ain't ever gonna tell anybody to get a divorce. Ever.
Yeah.
But I'm saying it don't have to be ugly.
It doesn't have to be.
It is literally a decision to be made on whether it's gonna be ugly or not.
Exactly.
Like, and if nobody else, if you don't get anything else out of my experience from this, I want to show people, and even me and Tiff have talked about, showing people that you can still be friends after a marriage ends. It don't have to.
That's good.
Like, y'all don't understand how much effect it has on your kids.
Yeah.
On how you treat each other.
Yeah.
Because you don't want them feeling like it's their fault and all that kind of. I know people that are older now that say they wish their parents would have got a divorce because it didn't make sense to stay together. Like, it's crazy. It sounds crazy hearing that. Yeah. Especially from somebody rooted in church and all that kind of stuff. No. It sounds crazy. But I'm just telling you what somebody told me,
Yeah.
But it's like, man, sometimes I ain't gonna go at it like that, but because some people can't handle this conversation.
No.
I can really talk about it.
But you gotta really talk about it, man. Let us know.
Yeah, but you gotta know when it's done.
Yeah.
And that's all I'm gonna say it like that. I'm gonna say it like that.
Yeah.
And because we were smart enough to do what we did when we did it, our kids are still happy.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? We, like I said, we still have a good relationship. We're not fighting each other, and we can be an example to other people who have went through the same thing, to let them know, look, man, like, don't just make your life miserable just because you're trying to get back, or you're trying to make somebody else's life miserable because you mad at what happened or what, no, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's literally a decision that 2 people can make, that, hey, we're gonna make this new type of relationship work.
Yeah.
Especially for our kids and just for us. Like,
exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so now, being single, like, this is interesting because I think I got married when I was 23.
Right.
I'm from a country. I am not from the city.
Okay.
Like, her either. Like, we both were from, her town was a little bit bigger than mine, but like, we're not from no Houston or no Dallas, nothing like that. So here being in Atlanta, and plus, when I got married, I was broke. I ain't gonna lie. Look, when I talk about, I lost my job 2 days before we got married.
Wow.
Pawned my keyboard on the way to the honeymoon.
Wow.
So we could actually get there, and then lost it.
Wow.
So, like, we didn't have. I didn't have nothing back then. Like, she. Yeah. So now it's like, I'm in Atlanta. We got a nice whip. I ain't gonna lie. And
nice crib.
Like, so it's like, what's going on? Like, I don't know. And then on top of that, like, coming from being married when you were 23, like
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't really on no dating scene. Like I told you, I didn't
Yeah.
have nothing.
Yeah.
Anybody wasn't trying to date me with no money or no nothing, right? And so now I'm 39.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in Atlanta where the ratio is 14-1, probably higher than that now because the pandemic. Everybody moving here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
got money, got car, got experience, got it all to go along with it.
yeah,
It is.
and I'm at first I was a little paranoid. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I'm getting used to the idea. It's settling in on me now.
Yeah.
But I'm very careful. I'm very cautious.
Yeah.
I don't let everybody in my space, man, because these folks.
Oh no, yeah, no, I
get
get
pretty interesting out here.
I get it, and then plus, like you said, we came up in a time where dating was different. You know what I mean? Like man, you talking about getting close to 20 years ago. Probably when I don't know how long you guys dated before y'all got married. We dated 3 years before we got married.
We dated a couple of months before I proposed. We were married. We had started dating and we're married in 6 months.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
We dated I proposed to my wife 3 times. Once a year, and then she finally kind of came, but we were young. We was babies.
Yeah.
She was. I met her. I was 19. She was 18. I was 19, about to turn 20, and she was 18, about to turn 19. So yeah, we were still babies, and so she was trying to get her life started and figure out what she would. Both of us were still trying to figure it all out. But here I am. This dude is just like, "Will you marry me? Will you marry me? Will you marry me?" And it was like, "Yo, we just met."
Right.
So she was. It took that much. I was ready. I was on go from the moment. I knew she was my wife when I first met her, because like I asked guys like, "Yo, when I see her, I want to know that's my wife." I was like, because things that I've been through, but I was like, when I meet my wife, I want to know it's her. And I met her, and I knew it was her, and I was just like, I'm ready to go. This is my wife. I'm ready to move. I'm ready to go. That's just what it is. And so dating was different back then. Like it was, there was social media.
None of that stuff. You can't get mad. You like her picture?
Right.
No, man. They didn't have all that back then.
Yeah. Cell phones was just, you flip them open. You had a little, you on this vibe of like, what up? And,
man.
It was different times. Technology was not
dating apps.
It wasn't none of that kind of stuff. It was just, that's why I tell my boys now, like my boys are starting to get, like my oldest is 15, about to turn 16. And so I'm telling them now, like, look, when you meet a girl, I tell them all the time, I have a 3-date rule. Like, this is what you got to say, 3-date to know if this is the girl for you. The first date, take her swimming, because that'll show you what's real and what's fake right out the gate.
Man, you know what? Oh my God, bro, these filters, man.
Oh, bro,
I promise you, I'm gonna come out with an app to unfilter.
Unfilter. I'm telling you, I tell take her swimming, first date, take her swimming, so that way you get to see, tell her to wear 2-piece. Tell her to wear 2-piece. That way she can't hide what's there. I said second date, if that's cool, she passed that, she's still cool. Second date, just chill, relax. Make it a real chill moment, relax and rest. Like tell her to wear sweats and a t-shirt, and then when she comes up, when she shows up to the date, just chill. When she shows up, hand her a bonnet, like one of those little hair scarves. Tell her to put it on. If she still looks cute with the bonnet on, you pass date 2, because that's what you're going to be seeing when you come home every day. You ain't going to be seeing her all dolled up, makeup, lashes, all of that stuff like that, body. No, when you come home from a long day of work, she going to be sitting on the couch with that bonnet on, bro. And so, third date, go see your mama. Go see your mama on the third date, because if you go see your mama, that's how she going to look at 20 years. If mama's banging, if mama still looks good 20 years from now,
right.
That's your 3-date. Then you can proceed after that with caution. That's my that's what I teach my boys. But no, it's a different world to date in, and it's even really honestly, even from the dating standpoint, it's a different world to be married in as well. Because it's just a different world altogether. So I see people that get married, now, because we got with dating, we got almost 20 years in the game now. And so it's like, it's a whole different world, and technology is, some people would say it's changed it for the better, but I feel like it's changed relationships for the worse in a lot of places. If you're not
Man.
disciplined enough to do that. So I'll ask you this question related to marriage, and then we'll move on. This is the last question I
Okay.
want to ask you about that, is because I'm always a cautionary tale guy. I follow patterns. I look for and even if there's not patterns, I look for patterns. I try to find ways to push and succeed. Sometimes it works
Uh-huh.
out, sometimes it doesn't. But either way, I've always been the guy that looks at things and says like, okay, how can I saw that person run off the road or they had an accident or whatever.
Yeah.
How can I avoid that? So in
Right.
your marriage, and you don't have to get super, I know you're versed in talking about things without, just having to go into the crux of things. But
Yeah.
what would you say would be, if you were talking to somebody who's, they may be like somewhere close to the path of where you ended up,
Mm-hmm.
but that's not necessarily, it could be, the crisis can be averted. What would, because I look at you and I look at myself in similar ways, like businessman,
Mm-hmm.
successful, married, children, and I look at them like, yo, that could happen to me and my wife.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, there's no reason to say. So, what would you say are those warning signs, those things, those? And I know it's different for everybody, but what are those things that you say if you were trying to give somebody advice to avert what you've had to go through? Would you say is those
Ooh.
things? So, what's some advice you could give somebody in their marriage, having coming out of one, that didn't, it ended well. You guys ended well. You started,
Yeah.
obviously you started well, you ended well. A lot of people, that's not going to be a lot of people's story, but
Uh-huh.
we hope we just get, what's that advice? That's the basic thing line on my
Man,
mind.
I'm gonna say the best advice, man. You have to, and you hear people say this all the time. I never really understood it until after the fact. You gotta love yourself first, man.
Mm,
Man, this go for the man and the woman. If
yeah,
two people don't love themselves completely, man,
I agree.
you could be headed for destruction for real.
Yeah,
I get it now more than ever, because you're taught that you got to make the other person happy. You
yeah.
got to do everything to make them. You can't make nobody happy, y'all. You can't.
Wow,
You cannot, especially if you ain't happy.
that's
So,
good.
man, take care of yourself. You have to
Mm,
be you. You got to be selfish sometimes. Like, and
mm,
that's they make selfish like it's a bad thing, and that's why people don't be loving themselves because they feel bad for doing it.
mm.
They feel bad for taking care of themselves. But selfish doesn't have to be a negative thing. It just means that you're taking care of yourself,
Exactly,
right? And
exactly. I
so
agree.
I think when you do that, that opens you up to be able to love somebody the way that they need to be loved. But
That's good.
you just can't do it until you do it for yourself.
That's good, bro.
Can't. Yeah.
That's real solid. So that would be your solid advice, is love yourself, and
Man, for real.
yeah, and
Yep.
and then the last thing I'll ask you about in this same realm, then we'll get back to some more positive stuff. Is you talked about it a little bit ago about the benefits of therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Now, would you say that you wish you would have got therapy earlier, or you say like, okay, this was the right time to do it right now, or you think that because I know all of us, because I've been considering it, because I've been through some things, in the last few years of my life that's kind of
Yeah.
been mentally traumatic, and I've been honestly considering it myself. But
Mm-hmm.
like you said, that's those stigmas that surround it is like, it's admitting that sometimes admitting that you got something broken up there that needs to be fixed.
Yeah.
Sometimes arriving at that it's almost like an addict. You don't want to, you
Yeah.
got a problem, but you really don't want to admit your problem. And then, they say that the first part to healing is admitting you have a problem. So, in the stigmas, a lot of times, like you said, that surround therapy and things like that. What would you say has been the biggest benefits, as you, as a creative, as a businessman, father, all of those things like that therapy and all of those things have helped you with?
I want to say this, and I want to make sure you understand, and everybody understands
Yeah.
what I'm saying when I say this. Don't consider therapy.
Okay.
Do it. Don't
Oh,
even consider it.
I got you. I got you.
Just go ahead and do it. You got to do it.
Hmm.
It is like you're not crazy. Okay,
Okay.
you're not. It's not a negative thing. It's not bad. The people that think like that, they need it more than everybody, right? Like, so don't let somebody tell you that therapy is a negative thing. Y'all, it is the best thing. I am sitting here right now because I was smart enough to get it
That's good.
immediately and not wait. I knew from the moment that I knew what was about to happen that I was not going to make it if I
Wow.
did not get therapy. Like, I was literally not going to make it, y'all. And
Wow.
so, man, it's so many benefits to it when you find that right therapist that knows how to talk to you. Of course, they're gonna do a lot of listening more than talking, but they know what to say. They know how to help you love yourself, because that's what they're
That's
gonna
good.
do.
That's good.
That's what that's what they're gonna teach you. That and so it pays off for me on the business side.
Okay.
It pays off for me just mentally, even spiritually. You know, I had a spiritual counselor and I did a professional, you know, just a licensed therapist. I wanted to get both sides. I didn't want to just. I mean, honestly, I'm just saying. I didn't just want to hear about Jesus.
Yeah. When
it came to my divorce, I wanted to hear about the other stuff.
Yeah.
You know, the stuff that you're not going to hear from this person.
Exactly.
Hear from this person, and so. But when you get the two, yeah, I'm telling you, please don't even consider it. Just do it.
Okay. Be like Nike. Yeah. Just do it.
Just do it.
Okay. Got it. Message received. So that's dope, man. So I just want to, this has been an amazing conversation, man. Just being able to sit down and just, you know, pick your brain for about an hour or so and just, you know, just dig into everything C-Dub. What I want to kind of, you know, close out with, man, is just like what's next, man? What's, you know, I always know one thing I know about you from the times I've, you know, hung around you, had, you know, previous conversations, man. The level that you think on, just the level that you think on is always inspiring to me. It's not so much about what you do that inspires me. It's about how you think that inspires me. Because doing,
same here, man.
Yeah, doing things, man, is like, okay, I've seen people do things, but it's just the way that the perception, you know, because it's always mind blowing to me more than what you do. So, like, what you know, as much as you can talk about, because I know there's some things that you
know,
I know you ain't gonna say everything. You know, I won't say everything. Yeah, you know that I'm doing, but and I'm thinking about. But as much as you can tell, I'm pretty sure some that's already public knowledge anyway. But what's next, man? Where you going? What's building? What are you looking forward to the next, you know, year, next 5 years, next 10 years? Where do we land at? Where does C-Dub land at? Where does he grow to?
Oh man. So this year, this is good. This is about to be amazing, man. Let's see how I can say what I need to say. So LoopsByCdub, brand new app. Okay, we overhauled the whole thing. We got some features in there that is so crazy that I don't even know what to tell y'all. Just look out for that real soon.
Gosh.
I actually redid every app I have. I started from scratch. I scratched the whole. I got a whole nother team of developers.
Wow.
All my developers are musicians, y'all. This is crazy.
Okay.
Like all of them. And we redid every single app from Loops, Hoop Triggers Plus, Scale Junkie, and I got another one coming that ain't nobody expecting, but this is really, really, really crazy.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm doing that. So man, and let's see if I can say this. Oh, my documentary.
Yeah, that's
coming out. It'll be out in the first quarter, so real soon. We ran into a few hiccups on the editing side. This is my first time ever doing anything like this, but y'all can expect more on the film side from me coming in probably the later part of this year. I'm looking to start a travel blog.
Okay.
Got a lot of trips booked, and I want to start a travel blog. And what my goal is this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, I was telling, like we were talking earlier today, you know, people, especially us, people, we got this thing, and I ain't knocking nobody that feel this way about it, but you know, you want to be successful, and you want to hide. You don't want nobody to know what you got. You don't want nobody to see what you're driving. You don't want nobody to know what kind of, you know, and I get there's a sense of privacy that you want. I get it.
Yeah.
But I can't, for me, I keep thinking about the fact that I would not be where I am had I not, when I moved to Atlanta, I saw stuff I'd never seen before.
That's good.
I saw a neighborhood with $1 million homes with all black people. I just didn't believe it. Dude was checking the mail. We actually stopped and asked him, "Do you really live here?" And he just laughed. You know, matter of fact, he came out in a suit. Maybe that's where I got that from. checking my mail in the suit.
Yep.
But you know, and so I can't help, like, for me, I was sitting down one day thinking, like, if I'd ever share people like any of the fruits of my success, how many people will not be inspired that could have been inspired like me? How many more of me
that's good, bro,
are out there that all they need, like, there are some people, the only thing they need to do, this is how I am, is see it. Once you see something, it's like, oh, he did it, man, I'm gonna do that. Like, you know, and so it's great being innovative, it's great being, you know, the first person to do something or whatever, but some people, they just need to see that something can be done. When I moved here and saw 20-year-olds driving Jaguars, Mercedes, Lexus, you know, I didn't know that where I was from. That was retirement, other people's stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I didn't know we could do that.
Oh yeah.
And so what I'm bringing this all around to is, like, with my travel blog, I'm trying to show people places you can go.
Yeah.
You know, things you can do. I saw this video the other day, right, with Supercar Blondie. I'm sure you know who that is.
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah.
And she was on this flight, this luxury flight with, and they had a bar on the flight. It was like a little, like, Emirates first class, and Tom Cruise is in there.
Wow.
And she asked Tom, she tried to do like a toast to Tom Cruise, and he was being funny. He was like, yeah, I don't fly inside planes. I only fly outside planes. You know, because, you know, every movie's always
Mission Impossible always.
Yeah. But the thing about it was, like, you know, when I was going to Dubai, when I was supposed to go before I canceled, but I'm going, I was going to be on that same flight in that same class, and it was going to be a black person. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, and I was going to show that because I haven't seen that.
That's needed. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to do stuff like that to inspire people, to let them know, like, this is. Have you ever seen Emirates first class? You can close the door to your seat. You know, order from a video conference. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, some people don't know, but when you see it, I'm one of those people that when I experience something like that the first time, I'm not going back.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna figure out a way
to
keep it going. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so that's the kind of stuff I'm looking to really inspire more people this year.
I love it.
And really just live, man. Like, all this COVID stuff and these folks dying, it really makes you think, man. Like,
come on,
am I really living?
Come on, yeah.
Do I got the same routine every day? Am I just doing the same stuff?
Come on,
time just passing by. It was just 2020, y'all.
Yeah,
we in 2022.
We've been 2022. This 2 years, man.
Come on, like, live your life, man.
Yeah,
like, live.
I agree. I mean, that's amazing. That's how I am. I'm the same way. And like I said, that the reason I'm people, you talk about sometimes people got to see I'm people. Yeah. People is me. Like, seeing you do the things that you do as a church musician inspired me to do the things that I do.
That's what's up.
That's
man.
Just what, if you want to look, if you want to see a direct like, line of sight to who somebody who was inspired by what you do and made steps and improved their life and took those risks and jumped out. Me, people. Wow, I'm people. Like, cause I mean, watching everything, LoopsByCdub, all those things. It's what inspired gospel multi-tracks. It's what inspired gospel producers. You know what I'm saying? It's what inspired Loop Elements. It's what inspires everything I do. I'm always looking at those examples. I'm always looking because I feel like this, like, it's just, and I know we're like the same age, but at the same time, I feel like manhood needs mentorship. Mm-hmm. That's just what it is. If manhood requires mentorship, like, it's always, you always got to, at every stage and level of your life, you got to be looking, you know, for a mentor, whether it's a direct or indirect, you know, somebody that you're seeing that's living the life that you want to live and you follow the path that they're on. So I'm 39, 1 year, literally right now, 1 year from 40. You know, December this year, I'll be turning 40, road to 40. So I'm looking now at people in their 40s and I'm saying, like, how are people in their 40s living? Not like the broke down, you know, nobody knows the trouble. I've seen people in the 40s, but how are people like that are really successful living in their 40s? Mm-hmm. And I'm looking at those people and following those people and looking at their paths of success and trying to pattern myself after that. Because like you said, sometimes you just got to see it. Like when we moved out here where we're at now, the house we're at now, we have a lake behind our house. So we have what they call waterfront.
Steak by the lake.
It's steak by the lake. You gotta. So when you come to Charlotte, when you finally make that trip to Charlotte, you gotta come out here and we go out on the boat. We get on my boat. We go out on the lake, ride around the lake.
I'm
and
trying to
stuff.
get on your level.
Nah, man.
I ain't got no boat.
You don't have.
Now I want a boat. See,
if you have,
just talked about a boat. Now I want one.
But see, if you had a lake behind your house, you would probably have a boat. See, my house came with what they call a boat slip. I didn't know what I had never heard of the word before I bought this house. I had never heard the word boat slip. I had never heard that before. I didn't know what a boat slip was. And then they told me where my boat slip was, and I walked out to the dock, which is right behind the house. I was able to walk around there and see, because like all of the people in this neighborhood have boats, like all of them, and I was just like, wow, okay, so that's a thing. And so I take walks. Midday, there's times like you're talking about seeing it. I walk out on the dock. Sometimes I walk out there just to see the lake and just kind of breathe and refresh for the day. And I walk out there and see 20-year-olds, 25, 26, 30-year-olds on the lake at 2:00 on a Tuesday afternoon.
That's what I'm talking about.
And I'm like, what do you do for a living to where you can be out on your boat or out on a jet ski at 2:00 on a Tuesday in the middle of March or in the middle of just like you ain't on summer vacation or nothing like that. Like this is like
that's what you do.
Yeah, this is like February. It's too cold in February, but this is like September, and you just like out there on the lake in the middle of the day. Like, what do you do for a living? You know what I'm saying? Right. So seeing it, that I'm definitely with you on that. So, but yeah, man. So I appreciate the time again doing that, man. So any pieces of advice, anything you want to give the people on the way out the door, just to kind of let them sit with some inspiration, some words of encouragement, and tell them.
We was talking about jumping earlier, and I know jumping is pretty extreme for some people, but maybe you just need to start.
There we go.
Start. Like, I know that we always try to get it figured all the way out and
that's good,
all the way perfected.
That's good.
I can honestly say I am not lying when I tell you this. To this day, every idea that I've ever had that was successful, I didn't know what I was doing when I started.
See?
And every idea that I think is the bomb that I'm trying to perfect, it's still in my book.
Wow.
So it's like, I told y'all I went outside and snapped a picture for LoopsByCdub, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just sometimes you just got to start.
I love that.
And but I know what it is. It's social media that's doing it to y'all. Everybody looks perfect. Everybody looks polished. Everybody looks like they got everything together. And I promise you, it is not the case. It's not. And so, just start. Like, you got this idea, start it.
Bro, I love it. I'm gonna put that in my book. That's what I'm gonna do. That's good. So don't jump. Just start.
Just start, man.
Just start. Don't worry about jump. Just get on the plane. Just start there.
Yeah.
Just start. Just put.
You ain't even on your way to the airport.
Yeah. Just
talking about jumping off the plane.
Just
go to the airport.
Just start. Just start. I love that, man. That's gold right there. That's gold. Well, man, let the people know how they can follow you, how they can support your products. Those who haven't got on the hoop triggers, who haven't got on Loops by CDub, all of Scale Junkie and all of the other stuff that's coming down the pipeline. Yeah. Let them know how they can connect to you, where they can connect, where they can find this, that, and the other.
Man, hit me up on Instagram, CDub World. If you want to connect with me through email, the cdubbrand@gmail.com. All of you musicians out there, if you have not heard of What's Your Take, I don't know how we didn't talk about that, but if you haven't heard of it.
Gosh, so much, because you like me, man. You got so much. You got so many other things going on. It's like, where do we start?
It's all good. It's all good.
But it's great conversation, though.
Check out What's Your Take. Just go on YouTube and just type in What's Your Take. It's just a platform that I created to showcase the musical talents of people all over the world. I created a small, maybe 20% of a track. I send it out. Everybody plays on it, whatever they think. Nobody knows what the other person played. Then I go live on Facebook or YouTube, and I just put them all together, man. And we're making some crazy tracks, y'all. Great music. And we're going to start releasing some of that stuff this year, too. But it's really a good opportunity to network and find other musicians and learn and grow. And I can't tell you. I'm gonna show y'all some of the videos, testimonials of some of the work that people get from just participating, even if they don't even win the episode. I know people that's like, they're building studio clients out of this, because you can literally, I mean, if somebody can play blindly to a track and kill it,
exactly,
they can play to a track that you got everything, you know, orchestrated on. You know what I'm saying? So
it's good stuff, man.
What's your take? That's where I want you to find me. That's where you need to be.
There you go.
This season finale that's coming up on well, I don't know when this video airs, but yeah, this season 4 this year, you want to watch it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's good stuff, man. Well, we appreciate all of you guys that out there in social media and YouTube and all of the places that you're watching this on. We appreciate all you guys taking out time out of your day. I hope you learned something. I hope something from C-Dub's life like inspired you and encouraged you to get out there, and as he just so eloquently put it, just to start. Or if you're further along in the journey, you already started, maybe this will get you to jump. So you know how we do on these videos. You can hit the like button, hit the share button. Please drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think about these things. Follow C-Dub on everywhere. The boy's everywhere. Get all his stuff. He's got all the stuff. Just get everything, do everything, support him, buy it all. Just get the t-shirts, get all of the stuff. Get everything. Find him, connect with him. He's rich, make him richer, you know, all that stuff like that. And we'll talk to you guys on the next one about Holla at Your Boy.